Run DMC came out at Madison Square Garden and held up that Adidas sneakers, and everybody in the crowd held up their Adidas ball game, because they had executives there that was only there to see if hip-hop could be marketable, because at that point it was just a fad. A couple of guys had a few records out and so forth and so on. Once they saw the marketing potential of hip-hop, corporate America began to pay attention to what was going on in the inner city youth. And anything that has the mind of our youth, and you can play a part in controlling the mind of our youth, you can kind of control the future. All right? These devils don't worry about the future, because if they got you on smash now, the future is going to manifest itself. Another important issue during that time, the Beastie Boys came on the scene. The Beastie Boys made a mockery of hip-hop because they couldn't really MC. And I can tell they didn't really respect the art form, but they was trying to get a crossover market. Russell, was trying to get white people to buy these records. Today, they buy 80% of all the hip-hop records you hear. So this was significant. Run DMC didn't use the traditional break beats that Africa Bambaataa and them were putting out. They used more rock-oriented sounds. Why? Because they was pushing for a rock audience, so to speak, because that's, where the money is and so forth and so on. But within that time, when Run DMC and them opened that door, in came, like I said, Rakim, the Poor Righteous Teachers, the X-Clan, and so many brothers who began to use the platform of hip-hop. Since the doors was already open, I might as well tell you my story. I might as well tell you who I am. Public Enemy started sampling Farrakhan. And if you ain't heard Farrakhan to that point, it was dynamic. They started putting a little bit of Malcolm X in the music. And I started learning about my black history, so forth and so on, through Public Enemy and KRS-One. And if you've never seen Public Enemy in their prime on the stage, ball game. You know what I'm saying? Chuck D with that voice, the S1Ws and Griff and them doing, they were serious with this. They wasn't playing. Terminator X representing the unknown, always kept his glasses on. You didn't know who he was. It was magical watching this. And even Flav, I'm going to say that again, even Flav played a role. There was order and chaos. Flav was chaos, Griff was order, and Chuck D kind of was that middle pillar. And I'm going to be honest, if you get Chuck D going at a concert, he'll give a whole lecture and forget he got music to play. So Flavor Flav at that time kind of broke the monotony a little bit. Yeah, boy, kept the crowd going so Chuck can deliver a message. Remember, I don't care how the message is delivered, it has to be delivered. Clarence 13 Next was in the hood shooting dollars, but he was delivering that message because, you got to come ask the people to teach the people sometimes. So that was his method. Nation of Islam up in the prisons, getting out the mess, giving him knowledge of self and soul. So I don't care where our people are, you got to be able to transform and get that information in the best way we knew how. So when Griff says, thank you to me, I only say thank you to Griff for at least giving me the opportunity and so forth and so on. So 86 brought about that dynamic of MCs who began to stand on that front stage and shout our message to the world. We are here, we are struggling, we are not taking it. And let me tell you, people were forming. Brothers and sisters were taking off the gold ropes, putting on the red, black, and green medallions. We began to reconnect with our culture that kind of got lost. All right? So around 1989, once Public Enemy kind of reached their peak, NWA shows up. All right? I'm going to show you how this works. All right? NWA on a whole other coast. They show up beyond the first song they put out after Police, which was a political song that I could have seen Public Enemy putting out. All of a sudden, everything became gangster rap, disrespecting women, disrespecting who we were as a culture. All right? And that became the template because they were from Hollywood. So they ran that template, and once they saw that people began to accept that, Public Enemy was neutralized. And I'm not talking about physically neutralized. We got to understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So we are much more than this. This is who I am here to talk to you. I am much more than this. So they began to use energy to counter energy. It's a chess game. We playing checkers, they playing chess. And they put moves in place, and before you know it, everybody wanted to be a gangster rapper.
That's right.
All right? Let's understand how the industry works too. And we take it personal, but they just trying to make money. So they know drugs, sex, and violence sells. It's been selling since the beginning of time. So if Public Enemy was anti that, it's only so much money they can make on Public Enemy. And then Public Enemy had a whole different message, which was uniting people. So to counter that, you get some fake gangbangers, because none of them were gangbangers. Eazy-E sold a little crap, but he wasn't who you... And Dre, I don't even want to get into Dr. Dre. You've seen the pictures. Right? So none of these guys, and even Ice Cube came from a nice family. He came from a nice, well family. But when they formed NWA, niggas with attitudes, ball game over. And they had Dr. Dre, who was a genius. You know what I mean? He knew, like I said, if music is the only thing that can enter your subconscious mind without your permission, and he was using those Parliament, Funkadelic records, the ones that you knew you was going to jam to, and it was implanting those negative messages on the top of it. All right? Now, we know our ancestors would chant, meditate, so forth, to bring things to so be it, as Griffith would say. If you continue to sing a record 1,000 times and you got 2-3 million people chanting the same record, you're bringing that into reality, right? All is mental. So if we singing them songs in the club and we got that alcohol going and that booze going and we're chanting and chanting, we're helping bring this into reality. And when they have the artificial frequencies of owning every single radio station and every video outlet, I'm going to speak about that too, because back in the days when there were no videos, when you heard a song, each and every one of us in here had a different interpretation of the song. Because we heard it and it meant something to us. Once they came out with the video, they told you what the song meant. So if you see guns and half-naked women in the songs, when you start hearing the song subconsciously, that's what you're seeing, that's what you're manifesting. It's magic. Magic is real. Alright? Anytime you can make something unseen seen, that's magic. So if you're an artist and you have a vision in your head and you can make that vision that's only in here and you bring it into a physical manifestation, that's magic. Don't get spooked out about it. If I can make the unheard heard in the way I speak my words in the rhythmic format, you know, when I'm emceeing, I do that, is one that's unique to you, again, that is magic. Our brothers and sisters get in front of that drum machine, and somebody like Dr. Dre get in front of the drum machine, ball game over. You think it's a 50-piece orchestra the way he did his thing. All right, and I want to mention that too. I'm a little all over the place, but I don't have a lot of time. Once the digital era came in, it kind of killed the live band. Now, I don't have nothing against hip-hop and scratching, because we did what we had to do with what was available. But it's nothing like performing in front of a live band. If you ain't been to a smoky jazz club and you feel it's a whole different energy, the digital sound eliminated the certain feel to the sound. I don't care how loud you turned it up, it's just loud. Right. And then they give you the pre-EQ, the bass, hall, pop, and so forth and so on. When you had that 40-band EQ and you EQ'd that music, you know, to resonate on a certain way, and it was playing on them records, ball game. That energy you felt differently. So once the digital era came in, it afforded brothers who couldn't afford a band an opportunity to, you know, be heard. I get that, but it also helped us remove a real essence of music. So they gave us one thing and took away another thing. When they got rid of the tape, the analog tape used to put in clip, even that was an analog feel to it. Everything became CD. Digital. Lining you up digitally for where they're taking this. Digitally. And we ask for it all the time. Because we look at the 1 or 2 benefits that we can get. Man, I ain't got to rewind this tape no more. I can just... But you didn't look at the big picture, you know what I'm saying, which kept you lined up. That music, you know, hit your melanin, it hit your frequencies a different way when you had that equalizer, that band, and it played on those records, that analog feel. So they syncing everybody up digitally. Now, with Facebook and your cell phone, that's like a whole computer and so forth and so on, and we continue to ask for it. Side note, anybody got the new iPhone 4S with the Siri in it? that is a computer that will talk to you. Good morning, Siri. Tell me what my day is like. Hey, BlackDot, your day is free today. You can go. It's a computer. We've got to the point where we need to speak to our phone to find out what we're doing. Real talk. I remember before we had cell phones, you had to remember all the numbers in your head.
That's true. That's true.
You know, you had to retain that information. Now, if I'm lost without my cell phone, I might not be able to call out. What's this number? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Right? So the more technology begins to, you know, expand, the more we lose, you know, minimal faculties that we used to do all the time. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be careful, and like I said, we continue to ask for it. We want them. You know what I'm saying? They blew up them buildings with all that Obama nonsense. Osama, see, Obama, Osama. Yeah. But you understand my point with all that Osama nonsense. And then we asked for the Patriot Act. You know the Hegelian concept of problem, solution, reaction, problem, reaction, solution. We asked for this. And they got more coming down the pipe. Your boy Obama just signed a couple of bills and they shut the stuff down. And we're going to ask for it. So we got to be careful. Back to hip-hop. NWA comes on the scene. Every record label I went into at that point, they wanted NWA. So a friend of mine named Tim Dog wrote a song called F. Compton. And because he got tired of going into these record companies and they want him to have Jerry Curl juice on, talking about, and they was fighting over colors. You see what I'm saying? Just to show you the dynamic of where we are at that particular time. And he said, F. Compton. It had a #1 single. That was #1 single with no radio play. And we toured the world. London, Holland, Paris. He took me, I was a hype man. You know what I mean? So it was important to show the frustration of every record label wanting you to be somebody that you're not. Hip-hop in that day was so diversified, you didn't have to be but who you was. So you had Coochie Rap, you might have De La Soul. Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. If you was dope, you was dope. Alright, even Third Base, we gave them a play. We sat back and listened, but they respected the art form. So we gave them a play because their music, and it was anchored by my man DJ Rich, who was an original man. You know what I mean? So he was the DJ, he was the anchor that, you know, we gave them a pass on and so forth and so on. So you had so much, you know, diversity because our story is so great. You know what I'm saying? So everybody had a chance to come in. Rakim was coming in. You know what I'm saying? The guards was rolling with Rakim. Rakim, Shabazz. You had Big Daddy Kane from Brooklyn. He was righteous too, bringing his little flavor with the ladies. KRS-One. All right? And you don't want to, you ever seen KRS-One on stage? You do not want to go on behind KRS-One. I don't care who you are. Get your set in before KRS-One get on. He is the truth. No background singers, dancers, none of that. He just jumped on stage, dun, 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 and it's on. I was with him recently, not too recently, about a year and a half ago, and we was doing a show in Brooklyn, and I just was hanging out, and he walked through Brooklyn and stopped and talked to everybody. They recognized him. Hey, how you doing? How's your family? Boom, boom, boom. And instead of walking through the back of the club for the VIP treatment, he said, no, we walking through the front. He walked through the front of the club. No preparation. KRS-One is coming, walked to the front. He threw the disc to the DJ and said, put that on. He hit the stage and ripped the building down. All right? On another show I seen him, he rocking. It's a double-level club. You know what I'm saying? So he's rocking down here. He's killing it. His mic goes out. He never stops rocking. Even though the people can't hear him, he's KRS-One. They drop another mic down, and the mic is hanging. He don't even know what record is coming on next. He's just killing it. He's the only MC I went home and cried when I was in the 80s after I seen him perform because of the love he had for hip-hop. And me, I was doing hip-hop on Tuesdays and Thursdays at that time. You know, something. I went home and cried because I wasn't respected, and I knew better. You know what I mean? So that's how dynamic KRS-One is. And you don't want to get on behind him. So, and he's humble, you know what I'm saying, and so forth and so on.